All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here today. We're going to be talking about one of Hamilton's, probably one of their most popular watches available out there at the moment. That's going to be this model. I'm not even going to give you a reference number. This is known as the Field Murph or the Murph Khaki from Hamilton Watch. Very neat watch. People have been waiting a number of years for these watches to come out since the movie Interstellar was made. They featured a prop watch very similar to this one in the movie. Hamilton plays a big part in the movie. Matthew McConaughey's character Cooper wears a Hamilton, and he gives his daughter Murph a Hamilton. This is a version of that watch that Hamilton just brought out. Now, super popular. I got this watch from Joma Shop recently, but everyone seems to be selling out of these things as quickly as they can get them in. So if you're interested in picking one up, I'd say definitely pick one up. If you can see here in the background, mine came in the standard packaging. They do have the Tesseract style packaging, which has a lot to do with the movie. I'm not going to get too into that. But that one is limited as far as the packaging goes. The watch is the same, but the packaging is limited to about 2,550 pieces, maybe a little bit more than that. But really great things going on with this watch. Classic field watch feel and styling to this watch with the cathedral hands, the Arabic numerals all the way around there, nice and bold. This one has a very vintage feel. There's almost a vintage feel to those Arabic numerals and the lume that is used on them. You can also see the 60-minute track there around the outside. Nice watch here. Now, the sizing is a little bit questionable for some people. This watch actually comes in at 42 millimeters from side to side on the case. You've got 52 from lug tip to lug tip, so it is a longer watch, 22 millimeter lug openings, but because of the size of the watch overall, they've been able to make it a nice, thin watch. Comes in at just under 11 millimeters. I measured 10.8. Since we have it here on the side, you guys can see the brushing on the case, the polishing on that non-turning bezel, obviously, and they do have the signed crown here, the Hamilton signature. Comes on a very nice leather strap with the padding in the middle. Was quite stiff. When I got the watch, I had to bend it around and really manipulate it to make it comfortable. Now it's fitting me just fine and wears really well. I've actually tried the watch on a couple of NATO straps, and it wears really well also. Now, I don't want to get into too much of the movie at all, and it's going to be almost impossible to capture here in this particular light, but on the second hand of this watch up near the top, like I said, it's going to be really tough to see, but there's actually small dashes and dots there. That is Morse code for Eureka. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, that plays a key part in the movie. As a matter of fact, the prop watch, the second hand, does some pretty cool, tricky things. And I don't want to get into that because I don't want to be a spoiler alert, for the movie. So anyways, great looking watch. These watches are a little bit tough to come by. Every place I go to look them up, they seem to be sold out or they're in very limited numbers. I'm sure that's the same for the limited boxing models also. So good looking watch. We'll go ahead and flip it over and take a look at the case back. Now, displayed through the case back, I do believe this is also a sapphire crystal on the back side. That's the one thing I'll note. Sapphire crystal, but I don't think there's any AR coating on that thing. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be anyways. It's picking up reflections everywhere. But underneath this sapphire crystal on the display case back is the 25 joule Hamilton H10 movement. This is basically an ETA movement that's being used in a number of different watches from Mito, anyone in the Swatch group pretty much. Tissot's using a similar movement. Hamilton has used this movement for a few years. Low beat movement at 21,600 vibrations per hour, 25 joules, like I said, but it also has an 80-hour power reserve. So truly a watch that you can take off, set it down, not put it on all weekend, pick it up on Monday, and it's ready to roll going to work. I've been keeping track on my time tracker of the particular specs on this watch. It's running 3.5 seconds a day fast is what I've measured. It is a brand new watch. I do expect that to settle down a little bit. If you're not familiar with these movements, they're actually laser regulated at the factory. I don't believe there's any way you can actually regulate the watch after they leave the factory, but big thing from Swatch, they are supposed to be one of the most accurate movements out there with their laser regulation system and whatnot. So I don't really have anything to complain about on that. So let's go ahead and pause it. Let's get this watch on my 7-inch wrist. And of course, we'll go out with that traditional Lume shot here on the OFD channel. All right, so like I said, this is a bigger watch, but it really matches what's in the movie. If you watch the movie, you catch the end of the movie where Murph is wearing the watch as an older woman, you realize that this really matches the size of the watch in the movie. They really made it nice. I love the way the watch feels. The curvature of the case, even at 52 millimeters lug to lug, it fits my wrist really well. It doesn't slop way over or anything like that. The case curvature allows it to sit very comfortably on the wrist. Coming in at under 11 millimeters of thickness too. I must tell you guys, with a NATO strap on this, you don't get that bulk underneath the case. The thinness of the case actually makes it nice and easy to wear a NATO strap. Now I'm going to dim the lights here, go out with a Lume shot in a second, but I want to mention something to you guys. As a watch guy, I can't believe this is the first time I've ever actually personally owned a Hamilton. I've gotten some in on trade. The last one I got in on trade from a friend. My wife actually absconded with the watch, and she has that watch now. So I've never owned one. So this is my first personally Hamilton watch that I bought. But it's funny, yesterday I was at a local swap meet and I found this watch, and this is actually a electronic Hamilton, a quartz Hamilton from, I do believe, like the late 70s or the 80s. So it's a really cool looking watch. I'm super excited to have this one in the collection. I think eventually I'll do kind of a little overview on this watch because it's got some really cool features to it. But let's go ahead and let's dim the lights and see what the Lume on the Murph looks like. All right, so probably not going to be too surprising. They are using Swiss Super Luminova on this watch. Now, even though it looks like a antique or faded Lume, on the dial itself, it's not a dulled or anything, as far as the Lume goes. Very nice and bright, very, very well done. Love those cathedral style hands on this watch. Just really, really good looking watch. This is the Murph, guys. I'll leave the reference number down below if I can find it in the packaging down there. I got this watch from Joma's shop. Really, really cool deal. Interesting thing about it is I got it down here in the boxing, but if you know Joma's shop, they're a gray market dealer, and when they sent it to me, they actually sent me the factory warranty card that's signed off on this watch. I'm not quite sure how that ended up in the box, but I like having it. So, all right, guys, that's been the Murph from Hamilton. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. If you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.